The following program is intended for mature audiences.
Oh, yeah. Are you feeling the sexual impulse? Flesh wound after dark. Oh, yeah. I am Flesh Wound Dan, joined by producer Todd.
I'm sure that's going to be used as evidence somewhere.
Evidence that I'm a sexy beast, Todd. Come on. What are they going to get me on, Todd? What are they going to get me on?
We're still in the first 3 minutes, Dan. Move on.
We'll move on. We'll move on. So, yes, we're back with another Skinmax double feature review. It's been a lot of fun diving into these. Check out all the other episodes and many more coming if you haven't yet. And also go back because we've done a lot of erotic thrillers. They're some of the most popular streams that we do. So, go back and see what you missed. The two Shannons, and we've covered a lot of it. So tonight we are going to be covering Sexual Impulse and Sexual Roulette, a Skinmax double feature with a Tane Mcclure theme. We talk a lot about Shannon, the two Shannons, Shannon Weary and Shannon Tweed, is probably the queens of this genre, and but Tane was right in there too. She's definitely a popular name in the erotic thriller canon. And oddly enough, Tane was also known for playing Reese Witherspoon's mom in the Legally Blonde movies, which seems awfully random. Yeah, in both of them.
Well, good for her.
Yeah, I always try and take a look at stuff that maybe I missed from some of these actors, and I was like, well, goddamn, that stands out a little bit.
Well, maybe Reese Witherspoon is an erotic thrillers fan. She's a big fan of Sexual Impulse and Roulette.
She is. She has
She's like she's gonna be my mom.
She has a strip teaser poster above her bed. Yeah.
I'm just gonna guess Ryan Phillippe made her watch them all.
Yeah, she's getting down and dirty with Ryan Phillippe while having a Shannon Tweed marathon.
No, it's Tane Mcclure.
You think they would swap with Gene Simmons and Shannon Tweed? That's probably Ryan Phillippe's dream.
That's what he's working on.
Ryan Phillippe, he's like, oh, where'd you learn that trick? And then he pulls up the covers and it's just Gene Simmons
We just beat 3 minutes, so at least there's that.
Before my Gene Simmons oral sex joke. He just wakes up screaming. All right.
Why's that funny, Dan?
It's funny because he didn't realize it was Gene Simmons' tongue in his ball sack, Todd. It was potty. It was potty humor. And I popped myself, if nothing else.
I bet you did, sir.
Absolutely. What a sweet ass on that Ryan Phillippe. All right. So moving on. Moving on to the movie, if I can stop laughing like an asshole. Sexual Impulse is our first film from 1997, and director Gary Schmad. And in this one, Joe Flanagan's private men's club, the Bull Moose Club, deals with the threat of closure. But when the situation grows dire, a beautiful new bartender, Callie, played by Tane Mcclure, tips the tides of fortune in the club's favor. So Sexual Impulse in this one, number one, the director he had a cable access show actually called the Bull Moose Club that was very Man Show-esque, apparently, although it predated the Man Show. and that's kind of like what he was known for, and he got into movies and did a bunch of stuff. If you read his IMDb bio, it's pretty funny, and he wrote it himself. So you want a laugh, go ahead and read that. It's pretty entertaining. But yeah, so this actual club, I'm guessing is a real club, because he had this cable access show called the Bull Moose Club. So this is kind of a tie-in movie, I suppose. If anybody actually has watched that, I know some of these public access things are occasionally available on online, so I'm kind of curious to see it. But so we talked a little bit about Tane Mcclure in past episodes, but Ashley Ray is also in this. She had a really good B movie run. She was in horror movies like Broken Vessels, Cannibal Taboo, Dead Country. She also was in the Justine softcore TV series as Carlotta Bain. She's of course lots of erotic thrillers, Midnight Teas, Forbidden Games. She was the dominatrix in Body of Influence, which we covered a while back. She was also in Ring of Fire 2 with Don the Dragon Wilson. So a good variety of fun B movies from her. And so this movie, it's really more of a sex comedy than anything else. I mean, we're basically like, let's save this bar from these evil women's group feminists that are trying to get it shut down. And there's a lot of filler in this movie. There's tons of nudity, because there's a lot of just random strippers, and the movie's got this one big party kind of vibe to it. And you could say it's a little bit bloated as far as its running time. It's 95 minutes, and there's not a whole lot in the way of story going on here, but we get a lot of great looking girls. The one thing that made me laugh, the opening scene, or not the opening scene, but right towards the beginning, we get this discount bin Wilford Brimley. And um, he kind of goes down swinging, where he gets into a shootout with these two thieves that try and rob his club. And he takes like this bullet right in the chest, and he's just like, it's only a scratch. He looks and sounds just like Wilford Brimley. It was the Glock that got him, not the diabetes. And then we go to his funeral, and there's actually strippers giving lap dances at the funeral, which I thought was fucking hilarious.
Dan's updating his funeral notes.
You know what? And this isn't even a joke. That would be something that I would do.
That's what I'm saying. You're adding that to your funeral notes. 100%.
You spend,
if I
like,
can't get a lap dance at your funeral, Dan, I'm going to be disappointed.
You can take selfies with the stiff, and you just open. Never mind. But yeah, the opening I thought was really funny, and it's a really charming film. You could tell it was like a labor of love, and I am actually curious to check out this cable access show. The whole thing felt like just filming a party, more or less, at this bar. There's no big laughs, though, I would say, outside of the opening. I did think the strippers at the funeral was really, really hilarious. But you could tell everybody was having a blast making this. If you're a fan of Tane Mcclure, she actually sings in this. I believe it was her beautiful voice. And there's, like I said again, tons and tons and tons of nudity. Usually really hot women around like these older dudes that were probably just patrons of the club. So yeah, I enjoyed all of this. And what did you think, Todd?
Yeah, you kind of nailed it. And you mentioned, yeah, I think the title and like sounds like you're going to get more of an erotic thriller.
Nah, it's a comedy.
I
Yeah.
well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying the title kind of feels
Mhm.
like that because the other title it had was Sirens of Seductions, which to me is less. I don't know. It sounds less like we're doing an erotic thriller. Doesn't really sound like sex comedy, but it's a little bit more likely. But
Yeah, this had a whole lot of staples though of the sex comedy
oh no,
genre.
I'm not saying it's
Yeah.
not. I'm just saying I'm saying the title comes off.
Yeah.
Even the cover art, it looks very. So that was like once I was like, okay, that's not what we're getting. And I just think the other title fit it better. But oh well.
You could substitute the club for a car wash pretty
Yeah.
much, and that you have an idea of what you're getting into. Uh, so this one put a smile on my face, and again delivers on the skin. Uh, but more of a sex comedy, not too hot and heavy with the actual erotic factor, just tons of nudity and yeah, that charm of a sex comedy.
More and more in like Cinemax era sex comedy than like classic era.
Yes, yes. This is the only big laughs for me were discount bin Wilford Brimley dueling to save his bar and the strip club the funeral with the lap dancers. All of that popped me, but yeah. Uh depends on your sense of humor. These Skin Max are not all erotic thrillers. Most are so far, but you also have Test Tube Teens from the year 2000. That's not an erotic thriller. So yeah,
Yeah.
it varies. It varies. Most are though. So Todd, what do you give Sexual Impulse?
I am a 3 on this one.
I am a 3 as well. Because judged as a sex comedy, there are certainly more funny sex comedies, but I'm an easy mark, and the charm of this did get me.
Yeah, it's a Skinemax film. It's taking us back to a certain era.
Yeah, yeah, lots of titties. I would go to the Bull Moose Club any time of the week. So there we go. That's
Dan,
what we got to do, Todd. We got to do a
is
sex comedy.
is it still open? Did you look up if you could still go to this establishment?
I did not. I don't think it
Wow.
is. There's a lot of crazy stuff in this director's bio about like being chased out of like Guatemala by gangsters and a whole bunch of weird stuff. I don't know if he actually wrote it. My guess is he probably did. So seems like an interesting character. So our next movie on this double feature release is
The sexual double feature.
the sexual healing double feature. So our next one is the 1996 film Sexual Roulette from director Gary Graver, who we'll talk about here in a moment. And in this film, it follows when a young couple loses all their money at a casino owned by the beautiful Sherry Landis, played by Tane Mcclure. The husband, Tim Abel, performs certain favors in order to work the debt off, while his wife, played by Gabriella Hall, is unaware of this kinky arrangement. So before we get into the movie itself, just wanted to talk a little bit about the cast and crew. So the director, Gary Graver, you probably know that name. Well, if you're watching this show, probably through Fred Olin Ray. He was the cinematographer on a big chunk of Fred Olin Ray's output from stuff like Olin Ray, Wynorski, and some others. But I mean, he worked on Evil Tunes, Haunting Fear, Alienator, Twisted Nightmare, which is a cheesy late 80s slasher, which I like a lot. They're Playing with Fire. He also some big ones. Mortuary, Toolbox Murders, Grand Theft Auto, The Mighty Gorga, Death Sport. This guy shot for, again, Corman, Fred Olin Ray. He did a lot of stuff. Bad Girls from Mars. I don't know if I mentioned that, but This guy started out working with Orson Welles of all people. He also did direct. He did direct some mainstream films and some adult films. Adult wise, he directed such classics as Cape Rear, So I Married a Lesbian, the Dead Pit favorite, Summer Camp Girls, which you can actually get on Blu-ray. I guess you can't now, probably because of Dead Pit. Silence of the Buns, Flesh and Boner, which does not feature Rutger Hauer. Hard On Copy, get it, all you young people. Hard on copy, hard copy. Yeah, pretty clever. Also, Maver Dick, not the Mel Gibson one, but it came out the same year. James Garner held out for too much money. But he also directed mainstream movies like Trick or Treats, Party Camp, which is a sex comedy. Speaking of Evil Spirits with Karen Black and Michael Berryman, Angel Eyes, which is new to Blu-ray. And he also tackled softcore. This guy did everything: Bikini Traffic School, Masseuse 3. It's important to highlight the icons, and Gary Graver is a legit icon. In addition to that, we have Gabriella Hall, who I also consider softcore royalty. She was in the 2 Sex Files movies, along with Kira Reed, a personal favorite of mine. Lolita 2000, Rod Steele, which was the James Bond Rolf Konevsky parody, which is hilarious. We recently talked about her. She played the younger version of Mimi Rogers' character in Full Body Massage, and a lot of different softcore. And the last one I'll talk about, although Tim Abel, I mean, my God, if you're a Fred Olin Ray fan, Tim Abel has like been in a million things. But we also get Richard Gabai, who is a Wynorski Olin Ray regular. He plays the best friend in this, who's an actor known for a lot of movies like that. And also Virgin High and Hot Under the Collar, which we reviewed not too long ago. So some notes before I get into the movie, because this is important to throw out there. This one is an edited version on the Skinmax double feature. Now, how you can get the uncut version, you can get it solo. It does have a solo release. The solo release is very expensive and out of print. Now, the best way to get this uncut is through this triple feature, which at one point you could get in Walmart. Sexual Roulette there at the bottom. This is the unrated 87-minute version. It's very small, so you probably can't see that. This is 87 minutes. This version is a cut 79 minutes. So keep that in mind. Now, even this is out of print and it's starting to dry up. So if you want to own this movie uncut, I recommend you look for the 3-pack. You might get lucky and find the singular release. I think I saw, like, if you want to drop like $130, you can certainly own it. But yeah, just wanted to throw that out there. That's what you'll be looking for if you want the uncut version of it. So with that being said, let's jump right into the movie. We kick it off, some really cool 90s Vegas footage. I was in Vegas a lot, really probably right around this time. So I'm very nostalgic for Las Vegas. And this is essentially a indecent proposal kind of scenario where Tane Mcclure is just bored and she really wants Tim Abel's wiener. So he
They heard wiener.
he heard wiener. Where's my fucking treat? God damn it. Not that kind of wiener. Shit. So yeah, he's down on his luck. He takes this stupid horse, this offer for a horse race that his friend played by Richard Gabai. It's a can't lose scenario. So he puts what little money he has left of his wife's money, and obviously you know where that goes. So that leads to some desperation, which of course leads to him just digging a deeper and deeper hole for himself, trying to gamble and get the money back in the casino. So I love Gabriella Hall. I think she's absolutely adorable, and I've always been a big fan of hers. You get lots of hot and heavy softcore scenes, lots of TNA, anything you could really want as far as that goes for Tane Mcclure and Gabriella Hall. I thought the story on this was also really entertaining. Gary Graver, of course, he's done it all, so you get a solid little story that kept me compelled and glued to the TV for it, in between all of the softcore shenanigans. And yeah, some good shots of Tane Mcclure. Once again, it was so weird to think that this is actually before she played Reese Witherspoon's mother in Legally Blonde. I still don't know how that happens, but and in true Cinemax fashion, Tane at one point, like the dude's Tim Abel's like pissed at her. She tricks him so the girl walks in on them fucking, and he's like so pissed that she's ruined his relationship, but he still hate fucks her.
Well, yeah, I mean,
so there's that.
Why miss out on the best kind of sex?
I had a lot of fun with this, Todd. It delivers all of the erotic content that you could want from these actresses, and yeah, indecent proposal where you get to see a little bit more of the action. Todd, what did you think?
Yeah, you know, with the indecent proposal comparison,
You didn't want to say nailed it.
but yeah, I do prefer this to that. It's a little more sleazy, a little more up my alley. It's a simple plot. I mean, it's a smaller, you know, film. I mean, other than the, you know, you got the Vegas setting, but I mean, it still feels a little bit smaller. Does that make sense? Like,
if you go along, and I mean, we've talked about this, if you go back to some of our previous reviews for some of those big ones that came out, like post Fatal Attraction and Basic Instinct, like they spent a decent budget on some of those films. While you go deeper into the 90s, you can tell that they're spending less and less.
Yeah, I can tell Apex isn't spending as much as Prism was. So
exactly, yeah.
But I mean, but it still pulls it off, and I think it's a good time. This double in general is a solid one.
And I think, you know, I'm probably more of a Gabriella Hall guy than a Tane Mcclure guy, but I feel like they give you a good variety of lady in here.
Yeah, I'd agree with you too.
Yeah, there's something for everybody. And yeah, there's a threesome scene with Tane Mcclure and Tim Abel that's pretty hot. And yeah, I recommend this one. But once again, if you want it uncut, if you get really lucky and see the Sexual Roulette uncut DVD, you're looking for the 87-minute version. But this is going to be your easiest way to get it. So track that down. It is out of print, but you can still find this. I think I bought this originally at Walmart. So you're not finding stuff like Sexual Roulette at Walmart anymore, unfortunately. So what do you rate it, Ted?
I'm also a 3 on this one.
I'm a 3.5 on this. Yeah, I was really entertained. And you see some, like I said, Tim Abel, you see some familiar faces from Fred Olin Ray in here as well. And I enjoyed it. And the acting was quite good as well. So that is another Skinmax double feature, guys. Be sure to tune in as we have a lot more coming on the way. And we hope you're enjoying this. We hope you're picking these up too, because it's so cool to see a company actually putting these out. There's a lot that never made it to DVD, or if it did, it was like the beginning of DVD, and a lot of it's out of print. So yeah, thank you for watching. And you know what we say, Todd? Please come again. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The following program is intended.
And then I hit the wrong fucking one. Try it again. Let's go. Fuck.